You have to remember two things by the end of this lesson. Number one, how do you model integers using these colored tiles? That's number one. How do you model integers using these colored tiles? Number two is how do you model integers using colored tiles and the number 0? I'll explain in a moment. Question 1.
Scene 1, Apple, take 1.
How do you model -5? I'm not going to say -5. I'm not going to say subtract 5. This is -5 because the minus sign is hooked onto the number. It's right beside the number. So we say -5. How do we model this number? Well, we take these negative tiles and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Simple enough.
Scene 1, Apple, take 2.
How do we model +5? The exact same way. We take these positives and we put them beside each other like this. So we have got exactly 5 of them. How do we model 0? Because this is, there is no 0 tile. And you don't, I mean, you could leave it blank and say that's 0. That would be accurate. But what if I said you have to use tiles? You have to use tiles to model the number 0. This is what you do. You take a positive and you take a negative. And if they're in the same area, they blow each other up. With no reference at all to any violence. We're not into violence at all here, but it's an analogy that you can use to help you understand these sort of things. So we've got the negative and the positive when they're in contact. Boom. They are 0. They are nothing. How many ways can you model 0? Well, what if I did this? I mean, this is one way because look, they're side by side. They go kaboom, they're gone. But what if I took another set like this? Is this also 0? Absolutely it is, because these two here, they go boom. And these two together eliminate each other as well. And so we've got 0. Likewise, we can keep going on and on and on, and we can do this. And they don't even have to be side by side. If I went like this and put all the yellows together and I put all the reds on this side like that, they're still worth nothing because they're still in the vicinity of one another. The value, the total value of all this is still 0. What number does this model represent? We've got a bunch of scrambled pieces sitting in the vicinity of each other. They're hanging out. It's a party. And we want to know what it represents. What's the value of these tiles? Now, because they're all scattered, we want to organize them a little bit. And what I like to do is I like to put all the zeros together first. I like to say, okay, these match up. So they become... And these two here, they go kaboom. And we can get another pair of zeros and they go. But then is where the beauty happens. We've got 2 positive ones left over. So the total value of all this is going to be +2. And we can write it out like this as +2. Let's put it in brackets. +2 is the value. Now it asks us to model the number +4 in 5 different ways. 5 different ways. Really? Okay, well look, it's not that hard. Look, here's +1, +2, +3, +4. That's one way to do it. But you know there are infinite number of ways, an infinite number of ways you can model number 4 after this. Here's another way. Mr. Melham, that's +5. Wait a minute, let me finish. How about that? That's also +4 because these two. Well, Mr. Melham, what if I put it over here? Is it even down here? Is that still +4? You bet it is, because this guy here is going to eliminate any one of these. It doesn't have to be this one on the end. He could eliminate this guy or this one, any of them. As long as he's in the area, he's going to eliminate one of them, and you're going to be left with +4. Okay, so now we've got 2 ways to do it. What's a third way? Just put another 0 beside him. Like that. That's another 0, and it represents +4. Here's the 4th way. And here's the 5th way. And you could see that we can keep going on and on and on. We're not limited to 5 different ways. There are infinite number of ways to do this. And you can even scramble them up and you could say, haha, now what do I have? And you'd still have +4. Well, what if I put this guy in the bottom corner here? Yep, still positive 4. Now it asks us to model the integer -3 in 5 different ways. And feel free at any time to pause the video and try one of these questions on your own before you do the quiz at the end. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show -3. That's one way. It asks us for 5 different ways. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add a bunch of zeros beside it. Here's the second way of doing it. Here is the third way. It's still -3 altogether. Here's the fourth way. And here's the fifth way. Any of those ways are going to represent -3. And even if you scramble it up and you put some on top of each other like this, and maybe a yellow one, doesn't matter. We've got -3 in any scenario.